He may be a future king, but Prince William has also proved he's a man of the people after revealing that he's been secretly volunteering on a crisis helpline. The Duke of Cambridge said that he had been answering messages for the mental health charity Shout, which offers support via text message. Prince William has had to deal with his own share of trauma, tragically losing his mother. So when it comes to supporting others, Carol, do you think that you have to experience your own tragedy to truly help others through theirs?
I'm not too sure, but I do know a hell of a lot of people who've had trauma and mental health problems in the past and then have retrained and have become psychotherapists. And quite good ones, apparently. Not that I know, because I've never had to seek professional help for mental health problems. But I have to say, now, during this lockdown and during all the stress that's going through, it's going through everybody's mind at the moment. The sleep problems I'm having, the terrible anxiety dreams I'm having, everything else. I've never felt so close to seeking help in my whole life, and I'm quite old, and I think I've escaped quite well so far. And some days, I must say, I've got to the point where I'm thinking I can't get out of bed today. And I know from Denise, from being friends with Denise for a very long time, and I know she talks about the unwelcome visitor and the dark cloud and the other sort of names that it has. And I've always been very sympathetic, but I've never really understood how bad can that be, and I am getting very close to it now with this, because I can't see an end in sight to any of it. And the future, what scares me, my health scares me, everything scares me. And not because of the virus, I might add.
Yeah. There's going to be a bit of a tsunami of mental health problems as a result
Yeah.
of this, and we all have to be very, very aware of that. And it was interesting to me because McGiff did get in touch with me the other day and said exactly that. She said, I know I've never really experienced clinical depression before, but I am at a point where my mental health is out of my control. And it's interesting with anxiety at the moment, because so many people worldwide are waking up with anxiety and have no idea how to control it. So sometimes those of us who have lived with anxiety for many years are almost at an advantage. And there are those who are struggling with the lockdown situation and the sense of hopelessness, as Carol is aware. There are also those, and many young people with anxiety are finding it a solace because they're not suffering from status anxiety. They're not, everybody else has been, it's a bit of a level playing. Obviously, some people's lockdown is better than others. We are aware of that. But it's been very interesting. But we are going to have to be aware. And although the main priority, of course, has been put on people's physical health, there has been a lot of people who have not been sympathetic to the mental health of this nation. And we have to maintain positivity and hopefulness. And at the moment, if you tweet about something positive or if you try to shine a light on some improvement in the situation, you're almost shouted down by it. And it's like with the second spike, second wave. There may be a second wave. There may not be a second wave. We don't know yet. And so all about what I've tried to do as someone who considers themselves a mental health advocate as well as a actress, presenter, whatever, just because I've talked about it for so long, is trying to, whilst I'm well, is try to bring some level of positivity, because there's going to be a lot of PTSD. There's going to be a lot of people suffering. And once you let that depression genie out of the bottle, it's hard to get it back in because it changes the chemistry.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with what you're saying in regards to the whole, feeling that there's the hope is gone, beforehand, before everything was going down, especially with lockdown, especially with the protests at the moment for Black Lives Matter. It just, for me personally, my head feels so heavy at the moment. My head feels heavy. I feel a bit drained mentally, because it's just the anxiety and the worry of where's things going to lead to. There's part of me that feels like, okay, a stand is being made with everyone. We're being much more united with a stand, but then are we going to go through the worst to get to the better? And it's just a worry for, what do you say, what don't you say, when do you say it, how do you say it? And just, I worry, at the end of the day, the Black Lives Matter has been because there's been a lot of black people being killed in authorities and so on. And I worry about people on the marches. I worry about the effects that it's having on people's mental health. I worry about the relationship it's having with all of us, people who might not be black and are in support of equality and maybe feeling like they don't know what to say or how to help. I've spoken to so much people and men, black men in general, who have had people phone them to say, are you okay? And they're not okay because this is something that they've had to live with every day. Although we're seeing the big scale of it, I think what it's doing is evoking the emotion of, oh my gosh, every day I deal with this worry. If I get stopped, if I argue with the wrong person, will I be aggressive? So although you've got the big grand scale of the protests and everything, it's been happening. So now it's like, you know, like a little trigger. So it's now made you realise, oh, actually that time when that person kind of said about my nose or about my lips, or it was much more deeper. And then you're going back 10 years, you're going back to childhood. And that is what is happening with a lot of people. And I feel it because it's happened to me, and I feel it for the other people it's happening to. But I think, like, if you haven't been through the same trauma, you still can have empathy.
You can have empathy.
You can have empathy. You know, I've had friends that are not black who have phoned me to make sure I'm all right. Yeah. I've got a good friend whose husband is black, but she's white, and she's like, you know, she's feeling.
Judi, do you even worry about what to say as a black woman? Because I know that with us the other day, you know, when we first started talking about the current Black Lives Matter protests, we were sat here with I think it was Jane, as 3 middle-class white women on a panel, and I think you were down the line there. And I've been doing this show for nigh on 17, 18 years. And I don't get nervous because I always feel I'm quite gobby. I'm in control of what I say. People tell me to shut up or whatever. But over the last couple of weeks that we've been here, I am very nervous about what to say about everything, about the virus, particularly about Black Lives Matter. I don't know whether to say BAME or whether to say BAME. I'm terrified of offending anybody. And I'm finding that my anxiety pre-show, but as a black woman, are you even finding that you're nervous?
I find it nervous. To be honest with you, the word black, sometimes it irks me. Sometimes I'm like, do I want to use the word black? Can I say white? Will people feel offended if I say it? Because it's labels, isn't it? And when you think of the connotation of the word black, you know, I've had my own son say to me, black, why black? Our skin is not actually black, it's brown. And when people describe black, it's always associated to things that are negative or that is dirty, that is dangerous. So you go through that, what can I say, what can't I say? And I think that happens to everybody. It happens to me. As you've just said, it's happened to you. And I think the fact that we can actually just sit here honestly and say, I don't know what I'm supposed to say or how I'm supposed to say it, means that we can have a conversation to know, like, OK, I'm going to say this. Did I offend you or didn't I? And that's for me to say, actually, you did or you didn't.
That's a very good point, that it's OK to say, have I offended you? What would you like me to do? Because I think that's what we're wondering is, what can we do?
Yeah. It's all on an individual basis.
To make progress.
With the naming, it's all on an individual basis. And I would say, you know, to people who are not black, to just support. Yeah, you know your privileges, you know your rights already. Support, ask the questions. In fact, you don't even need to know or say what do I need to do, because you know, because you can feel it inside what things are right and what things are not right. You know, just like if I come here, you guys will ask me, "Are you okay? Like, how are you feeling?" That's good.
Right, if you've been affected by anything that we have just spoken about, please go to our website where there are helplines available.